everyone, my name is Mayola Am, and today I'll be talking about my 5 recommendations for being successful in this class. So my first experience with public speaking was in my freshman year of high school in my English class, and I went up to the front of the class and instead of speaking, I cried. So until recently, my public speaking skills barely improved. So as a returning college student, I've taken a couple of public speaking classes, but I never really learned anything from them until I took Dr. Graham's class, and now I feel more comfortable and confident speaking in front of other people. So according to an article written by Lake on June 10th, 2022, around 75% of the population struggle with public speaking to a certain extent. Today, we will be talking about my 5 recommendations to succeed in this class. We'll discuss actively listening and interacting with Dr. Graham, going to class and reaching out if you can't, go reading and watching through all the content and taking good notes, making friends, and practicing your speeches. So first, let's talk about actively listening and interacting with Dr. Graham. So actively listening means giving your undivided attention to the speaker, and in this case that is Dr. Graham. So stay off your phone because he hates that. Actually listen to what he's saying and retain the information, because Dr. Graham's super straightforward and will really only tell you the things that you absolutely need to know. So he's setting you up for success himself right there. Interacting with Dr. Graham means practicing your speeches in front of him and getting his feedback on them and asking questions if you're unsure of something, you know? So now we will talk about coming to class and reaching out if you can't. So coming to class is super important because, you'll get extra detailed instructions from Dr. Graham. I'm so nervous. Anyways, going to class gives you more practice writing your outlines and doing your speeches. So during class sessions, you'll literally have time to work on your outlines and get feedback in class, and that will make it easier when you go home to do them because you'll have done them step by step in the class already for the most part. And you'll have some experience with speeches if you are practicing in the class. So, you'll feel the pressure when you're practicing, but on the speech day, it's totally worth it because you'll have the feedback from the practice you did. That way you can improve the speech as you go, and then on speech day, you'll have one less thing to worry about because, you already practiced it. So if and then, if you can't make it to class, you really can't make it to class, just reach out to Dr. Graham for, further instructions or questions, and he'll make sure you're all caught up for the next class. So next we'll talk about reading and watching through all the content that he posts and taking good notes on them. So every quiz that Dr. Graham assigns is literally taken from the content he's posting. If you're taking good detailed notes on the readings and the videos, you'll never get less than 100 on his quizzes. And you'll retain the information better if you're, taking good notes and summarizing the content. He also provides you with a I keep touching my face. He also provides you with a example outline, and then an example note taking in the beginning of the class, and it makes note taking super simple if you use it. And also the videos that he's posting are worth watching, one, because they're used for your assignments, and then 2, because they're usually a really good example of what good speeches look like. So now that we've talked about that, we'll be talking about making friends in the class. So making friends in the class will make communicating and giving your speeches so much more comfortable. So if you're giving giving a speech in a room full of strangers is super nerve-wracking. So you should get to know a couple of them. It'll make it a lot easier. Dr. Graham always emphasizes giving your speech should be having a conversation with a friend, and if you have friends in the class, that's literally what you'll be doing. So make friends. That also allows you and them to be able to practice your speeches together and get feedback and all that good stuff. And you know, having friends is just gonna make class more enjoyable. And for me, like, having friends gave me another reason to look forward to going to class besides the fact that the class is important. Yes, so finally we'll talk about practicing your speeches. So practicing your speeches is really important because it'll make giving the speech on speech day a breeze. You'll sound more knowledgeable, more credible, and you'll sound very prepared, which is good. So if you volunteer practicing your speeches in class, you'll receive feedback right away, which is that way you can perfect your speech before final speech day and all that good stuff. And the more you practice your speeches, the less room you'll have for errors, and you'll be more comfortable, and you won't sound like you're reading it straight off the page. If you're practicing your speeches, you'll also use less filler words like and spend less time trying to remember what it was you wrote down on your outline, since you'll know it by heart, and again, you'll have one less thing to stress about on speech day. So today we talked about my 5 recommendations for being successful in this class, and we discussed actively listening and actively listening and interacting with Dr. Graham, going to class and reaching out if you can't, reading and watching through all the content that he posts and taking good notes, making friends, and practicing your speeches. Around 75% of the population struggle with public speaking to a certain extent, and now I don't. So in the beginning of this course, I went up to practice the introduction for our expository speech, and I froze up again. But by the end of this course, I've successfully given my speeches, like, from start to finish with little problems, except little things. After taking Dr. Graham's class, I'm so much more comfortable speaking, and I know how to properly create visual aids for my speeches. And I also know how to give proper constructive criticism now. And I want to say I'm confident in saying that I think I have better speech etiquette than a lot of professors, thanks to Dr. Graham.